welcome to my Go Gently YouTube channel. My name is Bonnie and your name is Hugo. Today we are in my bedroom, as you can see, and we are going to be doing something that I have literally meant to do for a very long time, and I've been procrastinating about it. I've been giving myself all the excuses, particularly writing my book and everything that's been happening, which has been wonderful, but now I'm out of excuses, and guess what we've got to have to do? We're gonna do a big New Year clean out of my room. Predominantly my clothes and wearable items, because that's pretty much all that is in here, apart from animals making noises. So yeah, we're gonna look through my stuff, take a few pauses and moments to maybe see and reflect on the different materials that we find in our clothes and the kind of environmental impact of those. And then what do I do when I have a pile of stuff that I want to no longer have for myself, whether that is gifting it to friends, whether that's recycling it, whether that's donating it, whether that's reselling it. There's so many different options that we can do that isn't sending our clothes to landfill. So let's have a go at looking through my room. This could take a long time. I have a tendency to get very attached to things, which is why I've kept so many things over so long, but maybe I'll be a bit better at letting those things go. I also have things that I have in my wardrobe that are from special events. I mean, even like I've got still stuff from the Harry Potter premieres and different events I did like that, so I've kept onto them because they're so important and significant for me, and I probably won't be getting rid of any of those today, but maybe I'll try on a few. Okay, first things first, we are going to light an incense. I think it will help me to slow down. I think the reason why I haven't done this act of really clearing out, getting rid of, just rethinking everything is because I often feel like I just don't have time. Like there's so many other things that need to get done and that'll just be fine. Like just stuff it a bit more into the drawer and no one will ever know that it's there. But I think just having stuff around you that's needs some attention is not like a healthy thing. So I'm trying to give my things a bit more attention and consideration, and I think it can help to remind you the kind of habits you want to like continue doing. Like, you know, when you look through your clothes, I could find like, oh whoa, actually there's a lot of materials in here I've become to realize and learn maybe aren't great or as good as I want them to be for the environment. Or maybe it's just noticing, oh, actually a percent of my clothes I've really bought new. Could I be really more adopting secondhand clothes and buying a more percentage of my clothing in secondhand? So yeah, I've known that I've been putting this off. I keep saying that. So let's stop putting it off more and do this. Let us light. These are by my friend Emily. They're called Boda. They're the best incense. I love them. This is the ground scent. Instantly feel better. Let's give this tidying a go. Take two. Hello, we are in my closet. It is a absolute tip in here. It is like, I mean, for starts, we have an entire thing of laundry. There is like almost no room on the floor. This is my bag of period underwear, washable, reusable. I just started my period, hence why it was open on the floor as I grabbed for that this morning. Accidentally, this entire outfit now I'm wearing is all Mate the Label, which is one of my favorite like casual wear brands. It's all made here in LA. It's all organic cotton and it's soft, and the colors they use are just, I love them. So let's go. Okay, we are officially inside the wardrobe. As you can see, it is a little bit of a mess. I thought to myself, should I clear it out or should I just invite you in and see it exactly how it is? And I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. I'm gonna just show you exactly how it is. You can see up there, that is like where I hide my sins. Loads of shoes I never wear. Predominantly high heels. I mean, I never wear heels. Honestly, if I could, I would be barefoot at this point. Billy, are you helping me? No, you suck. Maybe let's begin with winter coats, because it is winter, you know? Okay, we have this coat. I have worn this so many times. I don't know where it's from. I think I bought it, oh, it's from Sandro. So I remember it's like a wool coat. I bought this in New York in one of those many cold winters. I lived in New York actually for nearly 2 years. I loved it. It was very cold, and I have all these wonderful clothes from London and New York that like I never get to wear because it doesn't really get that cold here. So this is a great jacket, and I will probably be taking it with me to London. We're keeping it, but maybe have some order to this chaos. So I'm gonna put winter coats there. This is a coat I've also had for ages. Not great, it's from a fast fashion brand, it's from Zara. So I'm sorry, oh my gosh, wow, look. Bad example of just how you should keep things, like clean them up and stuff. So yeah, this is Zara, fast fashion. Definitely bought this about like 8 years ago. So I've had a lot of wear out of this. I wouldn't go and buy anything from Zara anymore. I've learnt the damaging effects that fast fashion industry can have on our environment. So much textiles go to landfill, and as we know, or maybe we don't know, in a landfill there is hardly any oxygen there for a real decomposition process to take place. So even if the item was made of biodegradable materials such as cotton, wool, hemp and things like that, it may not even get the right kind of environment to actually break down and return to the earth. Different types of gases and maybe toxins that are used in the dye of that clothing are released into our atmosphere and also released into the earth, which then goes into our groundwater, which is basically the reason why we're all here and can still survive and live. So it's really, really, really important that we don't send our clothes to landfill. So when we're clearing things out, we'll come to that when we have a pile of the stuff at the end, and what the other options are out there than just putting your clothes in the trash when you no longer want them. And yeah, so fast fashion labels create this model and idea that we need new clothes all the time. Like, it's kind of cheap, quantity over quality. And I think what we really need to be addressing is we have really good, well-made things that are timeless and stylish. They can last a lifetime. They can be passed down to friends, family, loved ones. Or we can buy vintage things that are still fashionable and cool today because they're timeless. But fast fashion stuff, it's kind of hitting one particular very niche moment within fashion. You know, 2 weeks later it's out of fashion. What do we do about it? And obviously stores, they can produce more stock than they need to sometimes. And what do they do with that stock? Usually it goes to landfill. No fast fashion buying, so slap on the hand for myself for buying stuff from Zara, but we live and learn, and that's what we're here to do. Nothing is good, bad, right or wrong. We just have new information all the time to navigate better decision making. Got this, I guess you can call it a jacket. It's a bit more of a lightweight jacket. So this is a really nice suede green thing. I have quite a few jackets actually in that kind of vibe. So I don't know, it's kind of similar, this kind of idea, this kind of like jackety thing. I wear a lot of them. Okay, sidetrack, because this piece is so nice. This is a beautiful vintage coat that I bought in San Francisco, and I very sadly spilt something on it when I was drunk and out at night in Australia one night, and I regret it. I've tried to mend it, but we're just gonna have to play with it. I mean, it's just so nice. I mean, look at it. Look at it, so nice. We're definitely keeping that. Okay, one last thing, I'm gonna bore you with jackets. This I'm ashamed of, but I'm gonna show you it. I used to dry clean a lot of clothes. I do not hardly ever dry clean clothes. When it comes to things that are delicate, I hand wash them with really mild detergent, sometimes not even any detergent at all. And then for things like woolen jumpers and things like that, I just air dry them pretty much. I mean, that's the beauty of natural fibers. They really have this kind of like naturally kind of antibacterial kind of approach to them. So this is not a natural fiber. I did dry clean this a long time ago. But now when I do have to dry clean things, I actually take them like my own garment bag, like a suit bag, and I ask them to put the dry cleaned goods in that bag instead of these terrible pieces of plastic that will never get recycled, that will end up in landfill, and it just fuels the fossil fuel industry. We have completed the jacket area. Just want to highlight this, which is my favorite ever. I got it in Guatemala. In March 2020, just before the pandemic hit. I'm so grateful for that trip that I took with Rainforest Alliance. It really just filled my heart with so much joy and positivity of solutions around the climate crisis. I went to visit a wonderful community that are doing amazing things for sustainable forest management. So this jacket just makes me happy every time I wear it because it was just such a good trip. So there we have it. We have what I have left of jackets. That's 3, 6, 14. I can't count. I just turned 10, 12, 11, 1. Anyway, 14 is what I gather. So I have put aside 2 jackets to find a new home for. So we will see how that goes. Okay, let's move on to dresses. I have a lot of dresses, it turns out. This is a Sandro dress. I got a lot of wear out of this, but it's just not my vibe anymore. So we're gonna find a new home for that one. This dress, I actually tried on the other day and I realized there's a stain on it. It is nice, but I have a friend in mind who I think might like this and will get more wear out of it, so I'm gonna give it on to them. Again, had a lot of wear out of this, but it's just not really my vibe anymore. It's a bit plain. Find a new home for that. We then have this dress, which literally still has the tag on. It's a vintage dress from 1970s and 80s, India. I was gonna see if my mum liked it. I feel like she may like it. I just don't wear it and it's so beautiful and I want someone to. This, again, not really my style, so I'm gonna find a new home for that. I'm really hoping I'm gonna like coordinate everything and keep it that way. I probably won't, but we can try. So this dress, I can't even honestly remember where I wore this to, but it is so pretty. And the other night, I haven't worn it in so long, and I've been doing this thing where I've been trying to wear clothes more often, as I was saying, and I wore it out. Granted, I did then wear like a big, like, knitted jumper over the top of it, because it was cold. But I was so happy to wear it out. I hadn't worn it in years, and I think there was also a time in my life where it didn't like fit me as well, so I kind of put it to the back of my closet. But you know what? The other night it felt good. I just wanted to highlight, this is made from regenerative cotton that is made through a brand called Christy Dawn, which is a Californian brand, but they have a farm that I have with, I think it's called Shadi Collective, and they grow regenerative cotton to make their dresses. The next best thing to buying secondhand or buying previously worn clothes is really looking at the fabrics that clothes are made from. A friend gave me this dress once and I'd always planned to like cut it and make it shorter, but I never have. I'm gonna put that in a little like try alteration type pile. I recently got a sewing machine from my parents and I've been trying to teach myself some things on the sewing machine and get a bit better at like mending things. I can mend stuff and like sew buttons on and darn holes and things, but when it comes to actually like altering the shape of things, I am not so experienced, but I am ready to be. That concludes my dress section. I'm actually pretty impressed. I also pulled out, I think, like 3 or 4 more dresses that I can find a new home to. So many of them I've had for so long, and I'm so pleased that I still love to wear them. I probably could do a little bit better, but I wear dresses often. In fact, ever since moving to California, I have definitely embraced a bit more of a feminine style. I definitely grew up as a very thick, hardcore tomboy. I wanted to shave my head, and I don't know, I just didn't like the idea of like dressing up. I really didn't like it. I mean, one of the things I actually apparently said as a kid, my mom has always told me, it's my body and I'll wear what I want. When she'd maybe suggest me wearing a dress. She never forced me to wear a dress, and I obviously got my way because I didn't really wear one. And I think I also got all my brother's like hand-me-down clothes, which I was very happy about. So now we're going to move on to a very short section. As you can see, it is skirts. This skirt I wanted to love. A friend of mine gave it to me, but it just doesn't look that good. So I'm gonna put it on the new home pile. It is like a hot mess. Look who I found. What are you doing? Are you helping me at all? Hi, Frank. These are the bags that I was saying in the moments that I ever take things to dry cleaner. I leave them this bag. In fact, a dry cleaner gave this to me. So yeah, I just take it, ask them to not use those single-use plastic bits of plastic and put them in here. But really, honestly, over time, I've realized that you can actually hand wash most things, even if it says dry clean. I mean, use, I don't know, use your intelligence when you know maybe it needs to be dry and cleaned. Don't like quote me on it, but I think a lot of things, yeah, can be cleaned by hand. And as I was clearing out, I found a bag of clothes that I literally cleared out to get rid of and find a new home for like a year plus ago. But I just found this, which is a company called 4 Days, and you can get these bags from them where you can basically fill it with things that you no longer want, textile related, and they will recycle it. So this is definitely an option when you're looking for a home for things you no longer want, but you know that maybe you can't find like a place to give it a new home and it's really at the end of its life. Recycling our clothes is the next best thing from sending them to landfill, which we do not want. No landfill. Okay, next section, tops, shirts, things. Turns out I have a lot of tops and things like that, but I actually find myself in situations where I wear quite a lot of tops, like formal kind of things for work stuff, press things, even how much stuff was on Zoom. I was like, I'll put a nice top on and I'll keep my track pants on. So let's just run through a few. This is one I actually just got last summer when I went to London. I went back to a vintage store that I used to go to as a kid called Pop Boutique, I think it's called. My dad and I used to go, it was kind of a time, I don't know, where big like vintage shirts were happening, and I have had this shirt since I was probably like 14 years old, and I have worn it so much and I love it. It's like beautiful embroidery, it's just really fun. In fact, I definitely think I wear it in a photo in the book, and I was so pleased to go back to the same shop and pick up this cute number that was like £15. So very happy, full circle. I love it when things can stay open and existing. There are some shirts here too, like I don't even know how this was once my dad's, but this was my dad's. This was my dad's. Like, look how short it is. Like, he must have been wearing it as like a crop top, which also makes me see there's like a stain on that, so we are going to clean that. It's also a good thing, yeah, I think sometimes you can leave stuff in your wardrobe and maybe there's like the odd thing that needs mending or cleaning that we can kind of forget. These are terrible, I know, another slap on the hand. Not gonna have those. So many coat hangers. I'm gonna organize these coat hangers. This is actually the shirt that I wear on the front cover of the UK cover of the book. There is actually 2 different covers of the book. So yeah, that is the shirt I wear, which is by a company in New Zealand called Kowtow. Okay, this shirt I found the other day and I forgot I have it. I have matching trousers to go with it. It's like a full silk set and it's got casino chips printed on it, so I need to find an opportunity to wear that because I love it. I'm like, please get rid of something. This shirt, Reformation, I wore it loads. I know I'm not gonna wear it anymore, so we can find a new home for it. This, oh my gosh, I remember getting this one of the first few times I came to LA, I think, with my friend Sophie Lowe, and I think she got a New York Yankees one and I got an LA one. I mean, this was like some knockoff like stand on the side of the road that we bought this from. I think I was thinking I was super cool, like in LA with this cool jacket. It's reversible. I think we can let this one go. Yeah, this is a matching set. I think I need to try this on because I'm not sure I still love it. I will put that aside. I'm gonna quickly look through and then it's gonna be time for a cup of tea. This can go. That can go. That can go. That can go. Oh my gosh, I just discovered a shirt I totally forgot I had. I love it. I need to be better at getting out the like maybe stuff and actually bothering to try it on to check I still like it. Quite a few maybes. I think it's always best to just assume they're a no until you try them on, and they've got to be a hell yes, I think, to keep them not a maybe. We can't have maybes. Okay, I think that's good for now. I'm gonna take a little break and have a cup of tea. Oh, Frank has joined us. Say hi, Frank. Do you like it in here? Oh, now Hugo's woken up. Okay, we are leaving that mess of a bedroom behind us while we quickly go and make and refill my tea. So while I'm sat on the floor, I thought we'd go through a few things of just like, I don't know, the questions that come up with when you are buying stuff, maybe new. You're looking at the material type, so whether that is made from a synthetic fabric like nylon, lycra, things like that, or whether it's made from a more organic fiber, such as cotton, hemp, wool, all things like that. It's really about how you are like tending and looking after your things. So with stuff like cotton, when you put it in the wash, obviously fibers can come off our clothes when we wash them. But if it's a biodegradable, organic, natural sort of fiber like cotton, once it goes into our water system and ends up where it ends up, it actually still has the choice to biodegrade and return to earth, so to speak. But synthetic fibers, things like workout, like lycra-y, stretchy leggings, when you wash those, like what it sheds, like all clothes shed when you wash them, but obviously they're shedding microfibers of plastic. So they're called microplastics, which you may have heard talked about. And essentially those microplastics enter our oceans because everything that ends into our, like, out of our laundry machines and through our drains and sinks obviously goes eventually to the greater good of the water, whether that's rivers, whether that's lakes, oceans, and things like that. So the problem with those microplastics is they do very similar things that single-use plastic does in our ocean, which is pollute it and make it less clean. Well, a lot of the air that we breathe is created through the health of our oceans because of, you know, thriving plant life that's in the ocean, and just the ecosystem that is happening there is essentially kind of converting carbon that it can sequester down from our atmosphere and changing it into beautiful, breathable oxygen. Everything is connected. Water is one thing that really connects us all and is all part of the system. The minute you put it into the system, waterways, maybe with microplastics in them, that water is going to end up back to you. I think I always love that saying, whatever goes around comes around, and I really like to use that in my mind when I'm thinking about what I'm doing and what I'm putting out in the world, and therefore the earth, and what is coming back to me, because a lot of things will make their way back to you. There is a repercussion for our actions. So you've got materials, the afterlife, like the life of them as you're looking after them, maybe the afterlife when they're sort of thrown away. And then you also have, you know, how that was grown. Was that grown, if it was cotton, was it grown organically, regeneratively? Is it even made from recycled cotton, not virgin new raw cotton or any of those fibers? So you're really thinking about the farming process, how good that they were being to the soil when they were farming that, what kind of water were they using, how much water they were using. And then also, very, very important element is the livelihoods of those farmers working on that farm. Are they being given a full living wage? Are they being fairly treated? Are they giving the healthcare and things that they need, or just the access to sort of a good livelihood? So yeah, I always like to say, ask questions from the brands you're buying from, and if things aren't clearly outlined on a brand's website about what and how they grow their materials, or how they source their materials, the livelihoods of those affected who are working in the, you know, where they're sewing the clothes and everything, if they're not transparent about those things, then it's usually a sign that you should look into it. Or just demand transparency. Be like, look, I love you as a brand, I really want to keep buying from you, but is there a way that you could tell me and your customers what your supply chain is like, basically? Wow, this is just a few hats. I have a lot of hats, so there's materials, how they're grown, who they're grown by, how you can care for that item with that material in mind, and what effects that has, and maybe its afterlife, if it does end up in the trash, so to speak, what will that do to the environment? Next thing is where you're buying it from. We spoke a bit about fast fashion brands. Obviously, if you can support more small businesses, more artisan makers who are you're really kind of helping to sustain their craft, maybe whatever they may be making. For instance, like this knitted thing, we obviously were sustaining a big network of knitters and people who work in wool in Iceland, which is obviously a very old traditional thing. So yeah, supporting people, small businesses, local businesses, a great way that you can really cut down on our impact is also just trying to not buy things from really far away all the time. You know, maybe when you're on a trip somewhere, you could get it because you're there in location, but really try to buy as locally as possible. And then the best thing is buying secondhand, or maybe swapping with your friends, or buying from different resale websites, or even just like eBay, Etsy, different things like that is a great thing to do. So secondhand where you can, whether that's really nice secondhand stores, whether that's the Goodwills, or shopping in other friends' closets. Andrew's grandma knitted me this. It's very sweet. It's quite Weasley vibes, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty Weasley vibes. Very sweet. Wow, I don't know how this stuff ends up in here that does, but it does. Okay, we're back in this area. The incense has definitely gone out because we've been here for so long. These are t-shirts, these are t-shirts, these are t-shirts, and these are kind of t-shirts, like workouty ones. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to clear through. This is my little lion I've had since I was a baby, because my nickname as a baby was Little Lion, because I guess I was born with a ginger tuft of hair. And then I also got this later in life as my second lion. That's my mama, and that's my father. So it's getting dark outside, and we better start getting on with my t-shirt obsession and seeing if we can maybe get rid of some. This is a Lumos charity t-shirt, which is J.K. Rowling's charity, and I've been keeping this because Andrew's niece is a big fan of Harry Potter, so I was thinking that she might like that t-shirt. This is a t-shirt I love, the Grateful Dead one that I got. I think my brother actually got this on eBay or Etsy secondhand. Reduce, reuse, recycle, which I love. I've worn that so much. Wow, I did some tie-dyeing over lockdown of the pandemic. This was my worst one. It is not very good. We could use that as like a painting t-shirt or something. Great Greenpeace t-shirts I love, or different like non-profit things from different actions I've taken with different organizations. Let them live. I wore that on the Arctic sunrise when I went on an expedition with Greenpeace along the Atlantic coast, trawling for microplastics, which are the kind of things that we've been talking about with this kind of waste when we wash our clothes and those microfibers that leave our clothes. Well, when I was trawling for microplastics and plastics in general with Greenpeace, they're exactly the type of fibers that we picked up, and sometimes even they're too small even for what we were doing to pick up things like that. They're that fine. As I say, where you can, buy natural fibers, follow the frog. So as you can see, I'm putting quite a lot in the pile for keeping. Oh man, I've got a lot. This is a prime example. Like, this has got so many stains on it. It's already, I bought it secondhand. It's like pretty much seen its time. This could be a great thing that I put in that 4 days recycling bag that I showed. So you know that by sending off, you know that they're gonna recycle it. Panavision. It's a rental house of lots of film equipment over the years I've rented from making short films. Hereditary. That was a great film. I love that film. Like, I've just got way too many t-shirts. I mean, I literally probably wear like 5 of them. Oh, this is another great Greenpeace one. It's like the old school logo, which I love. There are some things too, you know, those t-shirts, they just become so soft because you've worn them so many times that you just have to keep them because they're just so great. This was slightly more successful tie-dye job. You know, folks, I'm doing actually pretty good. This is how many t-shirts so far that I am moving on to a new home. Okay, final drawer of t-shirts. Man, jeez, oh gosh. Oh, wow, I think I actually folded some t-shirts the other day because this is looking pretty neat. That is not normal. Oh, 2 things, getting rid of 2 things. So these are some exercise clothes that I went on a hike with this morning. And, you know, I didn't really get that dirty and they're fine. So rather than like immediately wash them, I know I'll probably do some exercise, well, I hope I will, tomorrow. So I've just kept these out because I think a great way that we can save on energy when we like wash our clothes is by like just not washing things when we need to, and really try and get maybe a couple of wears out of them if you can. I mean, obviously, if you got super sweaty, probably not, but often maybe we don't, so we can re-wear things before we wash them. It's a good practice that I try and remind myself to do as much as possible. I was pleased to find a post from Flowers in Spanish, an account on Instagram, talking about how you could send warm clothes to farm workers in California for during the winter months that are obviously cold and they're working really long hours to harvest the produce that we are so fortunate to be able to eat. So I'm going to be sending these sweaters and jumpers and hoodies off to the address that they shared on their post. It's been going well. I managed to get rid of a whole drawer of t-shirts, which is pretty good, but I've hit a bit of a wall and it is dark outside. We're going to come back tomorrow morning with fresh eyes and energy. So pause in proceedings and we'll be back. Okay, we're back from our walk and we got ready. So I have a whole pile of stuff that I've organised on my bed that I'm going to try on because I'm not really sure if I am ready to part with it or whether it needs like restyling or fixing or different things like that. So basically we're gonna have a nice try on. It's looking a lot less chaotic than it was yesterday, and I'm pleased to bring some new energy to the day. So let's try on some clothes. Okay, so I tried a lot of things on and it definitely helped me bring some clarity to things I was unsure of. I put everything over there, and I guess a big next step that we'll do once we go through a few more other things is basically just begin to think like, where is the next home for some of these clothes? I think the first step will probably be seeing if a few friends that come over in the next week or two maybe want to look through and find something that they like. I always think that's a nice thing to do before you sort of send them off to other places. I think some things will definitely be recycled through that 4 days bag because they've definitely seen the end of their life. And then I have a few things actually I'm going to mend. I've got a little dress to sort of like mend and hem at the bottom, and then these two things, some shorts and some trousers, pants, need some new elastic in the waistband, so I'm going to do that. So yeah, recycle, maybe even check out some sort of reselling websites and like donate some of the money to a chosen non-profit. I think that could be a nice way. I'm looking over there because all my stuff is there. I'm like, wow, that is an impressive pile of things that I've managed to put aside. Last things. There's maybe about 30 pairs of socks on the floor, which we do not need. And then the other things, last but not least, my favourite item of clothing in the entire wardrobe, closet scenario is the jumper. I have a lot of jumpers and I love them, and even though I live in a hot climate and I probably don't wear them for the majority of the year, I cannot give them up and I just love them. I love knitwear particularly. I think that comes from my mum. She has a very good knitwear collection, some of which I've actually borrowed, sorry, and they're in my wardrobe, so maybe we won't show those in case she watches this video. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick snack break because I made myself a wrap, and then we're gonna go socks and knitwear. It's got avocado, heirloom tomato, lettuce, and goat's cheese. Okay, last but not least, we're gonna take all these jumpers. There's no easy way to do this. I'm just gonna... Oh, I can spot one of my mums that she may or may not know I have. Okay, let's just focus on jumpers and deal with that later. Whoa! Where to begin? This is a nightmare. Okay, wow, there is so much going on here. This I love. This is a heavy knit that honestly, there's a couple of days a year one could wear that in LA. This, oh my god, this is a great one to highlight. This is a lovely knit that was once my dad's, but it shrunk, so lucky for me. Okay, so this is actually the one that I mentioned that was my mum's. This lovely beaded knitwear that is by their best friends, Jane and Patrick Atelier, who had this amazing knitwear design company in like the 80s. Billy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you gonna join me? Oh, okay. Whew, I feel hot, like, dealing with this stuff. It's so warm. Oh, there are so many things. Okay, is there anything I actually want to get rid of? I'm finding some things. There's 2. Oh, there are some things, you know, you just love them, but they're just falling apart. But I love it. This is a lovely green colored hoodie. The best thing I'm gonna learn from today is really, I do not need to buy any new things. Often, you know, you think, oh, I really want this, or you see something online and you're trapped into those things. I think especially with clothes, I find. And then you think, wait a minute, do I have something that's kind of already like that in my wardrobe? Often, most of the time, when you really force yourself to look, I find you're like, okay, I do have that, I could restyle it. Or if you get something, you have to kind of find a new home for something else. This is another one actually, that was my brother's that he loved, and then it also shrunk, and then I got it, so pretty lucky me. Ooh, look, see, it's so good to go through your things, because like I have a stain in this, and it needs to be fixed and cleaned. Hey Billy, you help me? Okay, wow, I have a lot of socks, so let's go some are not even opened. Okay, I'm gonna highlight my favorite sock company, and in fact here's some new ones, and then you can see the branding, Arvin socks. They are made from recycled cotton, and they save more than 50 gallons of water when they're made. And I spoke a lot about natural fibers when we were in the closet, but another big thing too is obviously synthetic fibers. So yeah, here, sort of more sports wear ones, they're gonna have a lot more synthetic fibers in them. When these are washed, the microplastics come out of these and enter our oceans, but there's some ways that you can stop that. So you can use things like guppy bags, which are little bags that you put your synthetic clothes in while you're washing everything in the machine. They stay in that bag and that captures the microplastics, and then basically after about 50 washes you can then sort of dispose of that correctly or recycle it. These are actually some more Arvin socks. They're like tie-dye ones I did with my friend Cassie and Meda. They're all dyed with natural dyes, because obviously dyes is another big thing when you're thinking of your wardrobe. If it's a natural dye, indigo, which is already of the earth and from the earth rather than a synthetically made dye, when that goes into our waterway, it's also not damaging our waterways, which is really important. So yeah, when you're looking at clothes, obviously you're looking at the material, how you care for that, look after it, how it was grown, where it's come from, and also obviously the manufacturing of all these goods. This is my current very impressive pile. Okay, so we've got to the final moment of finding a home for all these things. It's gonna take me a while, there's a lot of stuff. Hi Hugo. Ooh. Hi. You woken up from your nap? Is he here? Okay. Back to business. Okay, so this is that 4 days bag. But I'm definitely gonna put some things that need to be recycled. A couple of those things are this, which is an old vintage t-shirt that's just got so many stains and marks on it. I think it's seen another life. This is actually a 4 days t-shirt that has a stain that I have tried to get out so many times and I haven't been able to. So that can definitely go in there. There is some old sort of pajama-y shorts that have seen better days. Then there's this, which is a big, nice sort of like linen tablecloth, but it was just left in the sun, and you can see it's like half faded. It's also got loads of holes in it. I've had a lot of wear out of it. I mean, had a lot of use out of it, but I think we've seen better days of that one. There's so much stuff, which is a positive thing. So yeah, the first thing I'm gonna do is let some friends come by and see what things they want to do and like, and then I'm gonna do some resale stuff. So definitely gonna do some research of that afterwards. I once sold some things on the Real, but I wasn't that happy with sort of, I guess, the experience. I mean, I did it in the pandemic and I was trying to really clear out things, and I was more just looking at some stuff that had some higher value to them, but I kind of feel like I prefer to do it a bit myself. So I know there's one called Depop and Poshmark and ThreadUp, but if you can leave your thoughts in the comments, maybe you enjoy selling and buying secondhand clothes on some of these places, maybe Etsy, Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, I'll look forward to sharing with you how that goes. yeah, it's really hard to sort of, as you look through these things, you know, they're all wonderful pieces, and but I just know that they're not getting the life they deserve by sat in my wardrobe. So yeah, I was just on the phone to my mum and she was like, is there anything in there that I would like? And I said, well, there's a couple of things that I have already tried to give to you and I still have them and you didn't want them. So yeah, wow, there's maybe about 20 pairs of trousers, and these are all tops and jackets, just so many things. Anyway, that concludes this video. I'm sure you're bored of my wardrobe by now. It's been fun. I am quite impressed by everything just going through. I've been really wanting to do this, and you know, one of those things that are just on your mind and you know it's kind of been eating away at you, but you kind of give all these excuses of doing work. And I think what's happened is I kind of just then allowed things to get a bit less, just allowed things to get more and more messy, which isn't good. So I feel like this is a good taking care of oneself by finishing this, and I now feel a bit lighter and clearer, which is good, as we go through winter and into the new year. So yeah, that concludes my video. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know my clothing and also just maybe learning a few tips and ideas when you're considering buying clothes. So yeah, top things are really look into the materials that the clothing is made out of. Really think how you're going to look after those clothing in the best way possible. Are there ways you can mend and fix things before you think that they are kind of over and finished? And when it looks at buying things, can you buy things secondhand, whether that's from thrift stores, whether that's from online secondhand websites, or whether that's even shopping in your friends' wardrobes or family. And when you do go to have to give things to a new home, what are the things that you can do? None of these clothes on this floor, which is a lot of them, are going to go to landfill. I'm not going to be part of the problem, and instead I'm really going to work hard to find out where I can send some of these clothes, whether that's to friends, whether that's reselling a lot of it, or it's recycling it. So thank you for following along this video, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.